Ladies and fellas, pull up a chair, grab your mug, and let's talk. Lock in with me for just a few moments because I want to dispel this misconception. Men will often say, my wife or my partner is controlling, but truthfully, you've got it wrong. You misinterpret her actions as controlling when in fact they're actually leading. And she's leading because she has to, not because she wants to. And it's because many men simply aren't self-aware. They don't understand what it means to lead in a relationship. They don't understand what leadership looks like. And so when it's not panning out exactly the right way, they often push back. They become defensive, accusatory. They shut down, and some even compete for leadership. Some men will even equate leadership to control or domination. And when their partner doesn't subject, she's accused of not being submissive. And you've got that wrong too. Coercion isn't leading. Controlling is not an act of love either. Let's back up. Many men never really had a model of healthy leadership. Many were never taught emotional responsibility or how to communicate in a relationship. And so acknowledging that gap feels like failure. So instead of growing into the role of a true leader, they avoid it. And the gap gets larger with time. And the hard truth remains, many women find themselves leading in relationships they never wanted to, out of necessity. So let me explain. A woman's natural instinct is to be feminine, safe, protected, covered, and led, not to dominate or control, just led. She wants to follow and will follow when her partner leads, which is to guide her, direct, and go ahead of her with clarity, with confidence, and communication. True leadership says, here's where we are, here's where we're going, why, and how, and I'm taking responsibility for us. When a woman feels that, she softens, her shoulders drop, her guard lowers, her femininity rises, and she says, okay, I can breathe now. She thrives when she isn't carrying the weight of constant self-protection. She wants to be covered, meaning she wants her partner to show intention, vision, stability, and consistency, because that frees her to focus on her life, creativity, and on him, not on survival. But when there is no vision or direction or stability, she can't rest. Instinctively, she feels the gap. She shifts out of femininity and into survival mode leadership, not for power, not for control, but because she refuses to let her life collapse. Now let's break down why this shift happens. 5 reasons. Number 1, when a spouse doesn't communicate, she becomes the entire mental load. She starts planning, organizing, anticipating, and making decisions alone because silence leaves her with no rest, direction, no clarity, no partnership. She's leading because she's left in the dark. It's like being stranded on an island. You will learn to survive until rescue comes. And let me add this, no woman leads from confusion. She leads because if she doesn't, nothing moves. And a woman was built to move, to flourish, to grow. But she can't do that when she must protect, cover, and compensate instead of being covered herself. Number 2, when a husband avoids hard conversations and shuts down, she becomes the problem solver. He avoids the discomfort, he avoids the accountability, he avoids the truth. She has the conversations, he dodges, she does emotional labor for 2, manages both his emotions and her own without understanding why. She carries what he won't confront, won't name, won't communicate. And that's not leading from strength. That's leading from the necessity to lead. And if there are children, that necessity becomes urgent. Number 3, when a partner is unreliable or breaks promises, she then becomes what he refuses to be. Once she can't depend on him, on his word, she defaults to managing what he drops. The follow-through she hoped for from him, she becomes. Then she must create backup plans, devise strategic security plans, spend emotional and mental energy protecting herself. And let's be honest, A wife should never be placed in that position. She's married to be protected, covered, and to be safe. She doesn't want to lead. She just refuses to fall through the cracks. Here's number 4. When a man mishandles finances, she enters protector mode. Finances are safety. They are security. Financial instability feels like danger. So if money is mishandled, she steps in to stabilize the house. Budgeting, by planning, saving, rebuilding, not because she wants to control, but because she needs security. She needs to sleep, knowing her future is protected. Her household is stable. The ground beneath her won't shift without warning. And number 5, when a husband carries unresolved trauma, his wife absorbs emotional fallout that isn't hers. Emotional fallout is the weight, the dysfunction, silence, or instability a person releases into a relationship because they haven't healed. Think about a house filled with calm and peace, and then the atmosphere changes. It can look like silence that shuts the whole house down. His triggers can create that tension she didn't cause. His shutdown makes her feel alone. His emotional volatility that forces her to walk on eggshells, she becomes the buffer. She becomes the buffer for her emotions and the emotions of her children. She is now the buffer and protector. She's the nurturer for her children and spouse to keep him consoled so there's peace. She becomes a defense mechanism, a stabilizer, often sacrificing her own peace in the process. She shields the house from the emotional fallout she did not create. She regulates what he won't face, absorbs what he won't process, and carries what he refuses to heal. Does it look like leadership? Absolutely. But it's the kind a woman never signed up for. She's leading because someone has to, and she refuses to let the house collapse under silence, unaddressed trauma, inconsistency, or instability. When too many of these responsibilities fall on her shoulders, she shifts from partner to protector, from nurturer to manager, from softness to structure, not because she's masculine, not because she wants to be the man or control him, and not because she won't let him lead. A woman wants her man to lead. She leads because survival demands she do so, because of what he's neglecting to do. But here's the part that matters. Give her vision, communication, consistency, direction, stability, and safety, and she'll return to softness without hesitation. She will breathe again. She will trust. She will follow again. She will nurture and rest again, because a woman flourishes when she's covered, but she'll fight to survive when she's not. So stop, take a look inwardly, and ask yourself, am I really leading? Or have I handed that responsibility to my spouse, to my significant other? This is RB. Talk to you later.